You're building your business, but behind the scenes, sticky notes, spreadsheets, missed follow-ups, and way too much juggling. What if your business finally had a system that worked as hard as you do? Your branded, simplified CRM customer relationship management system is ready. Run your business with clarity, ease, and confidence, now customized for you. Capture leads, automate follow-ups, stay organized, and spend more time doing what you do best. You're just one step away from a business that feels simpler, smarter, and a whole lot less stressful. Scan the QR code and get access to your branded simplified CRM today. Are you making good money, but still wondering where it all goes? Imagine feeling completely confident about your business finances. Jillian at JMV Financial Services provides more than just numbers, and get access to your branded simplified CRM to simplify their numbers, strengthen cash flow, are you making good money, but still wondering financial plan that supports the business and the life they've worked so hard to build. No more financial overwhelm, no more second guessing, just clarity, confidence, and a roadmap for lasting success. Ready to take control of your financial future? Scan the QR code and book your strategy call with Jillian today. You're paying for Go High Level every month. You log in, you poke around, you feel a little overwhelmed, and you log back out. The leads pile up, the follow-ups don't happen, and your CRM just sits there, collecting digital dust. That's exactly why the 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge was built. One action inside your GHL back office every day for 14 days. By the end, you'll know your system. You'll trust your system. Simplify, clean up, automate, build workflows that work when you aren't. Delegate, step into CEO mode. The 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge begins the third Monday of every month. Scan the code to reserve your spot.
You're showing up. You're posting. You're speaking. You're doing everything they told you would grow your business. So why is it not converting? Because visibility is only half the equation. Getting attention is easy. Turning that attention into clients takes strategy. VoiceLab was built to solve that. This is where front-end visibility meets back-end conversion. You learn how to get on stages, create your own platforms, and use podcasts, summits, and workshops to grow your audience and generate real leads. Then you learn what most people never build. A system that captures those leads, follows up, nurtures relationships, and turns interest into revenue. Email and newsletter strategy that actually gets responses. Workflows, not just more noise. Real connection that leads to real business. Inside VoiceLab, you are not guessing. You're learning the how. You're implementing in real time. You're building a business that works even when you are not constantly chasing attention. Because here's the truth. If you don't have visibility, no one knows you exist. If you don't have systems, nothing converts. VoiceLab gives you both, so you can stop performing for attention and start building momentum that pays you back. If you are ready to grow your authority, expand your reach, and finally turn visibility into income, join the VoiceLab. Scan the QR code, join VoiceLab Group on the School platform, and build the business that actually works.
Welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audiobooks and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
All right, my friends, welcome back. It's a Friday and another episode of the amazing and wonderful Pain Point podcast. So glad you are here. I am Nicole Borghi, your hostess with the mostest, and we're going to have a great and wonderful dynamic conversation today. It's all about providing solutions to entrepreneurs through the virtual space. That's right. Those 40 and above, my loves, escaping corporate America, or if you've been in a virtual entrepreneurial, solopreneur business for the last 5 years, you've probably even had a brick and mortar, right? This is my audience, and we want to get a little bit of snippets, some commentary. We're going to have some lightheartedness and some fun today, and as we always do, but bringing some of that power, that dynamic power and pizzazz here. That's what we are. And those of you who don't know me, I'm Nicole Borghi. I am a virtual event strategist. That's it. I'm a virtual event coordinator. Let's make it as simple as it can be. So you understand, I am here to share with you. Sometimes that LinkedIn's popping, you never know, that revenue just still hasn't hit. And it's kind of seems like that dollar bill, if you have it, is still collecting dust. I know those of you, my friends, still have real currency, right? We had that the other day in an event, and we everybody was grabbing their 20, and it was like, do we have money to show? Do we actually have that money? But my friends, if it's kind of collecting dust, that first dollar you collected, you want to know what is going on. I have a business. I've been successful in corporate America. What happens is when you come to the virtual space, it's all about branding you, my friends, right? The person that's on the camera, right? You're here, you're on the camera, you've decided to turn on the mic, right? You've unmuted your mic, you're ready to have a conversation. It's about getting on the stage, whether it's a podcast, a webinar, workshop, even those summits, right? You're sharing a masterclass, you're sharing events, you're there networking. Every time you grab the mic, it is a marketing machine, and we should leverage it. That's what this is all about, is how do you get there? How do you get that space? People want to know you. They don't want to know necessarily the VA, right? Sometimes I see that in these circles. I never get to see the person's face because their VA's there. Once in a while, that's okay. Maybe there is somebody that is part of the business and they're there representing. What part of the business are they representing? They're representing you, but they're sharing that business brand. That's fantastic. But they still should have a fantastic, honed in, focused, absolutely 100% pitch as well. They need to get on the camera and understand that, if you're the face of your business, don't worry about it. Come on the camera, talk to people and say, hey, here we are. Here's the product and here's the service. We're going to get into it in just a minute. I want to share we've got upcoming events. Yesterday was an incredible workshop talking about it was the 5 steps to lead an impactful, right? An impactful, energetic virtual event. How do you do that? It's not always hundreds of people in the room because you can't talk to all of them. You have a few people that you can get to know, a few people that you can build a relationship in a workshop. That's more impactful than anything else can possibly be. And know that there are less people coming in. Sometimes it seems like that everybody's somewhere. They're in their car, they're driving to their vacation, they're scrambling around, they're in Zoom rush hour traffic. And maybe they've had a bit of an accident, dripping over the cord to get on there. But not everybody's focused. When you have a smaller group of people, gives them the chance to get acquainted with you, and now they're no longer distrusting you. The world isn't trust deficit. They're getting attention. No more attention deficit disorder. They are getting your one-to-one attention. That is worth gold. So if you've established, and we start to flip the script, if you start to establish that those events that you're doing with those people in the room, how much would you have charged them? So value yourself, value the workshop, value their time, and that's what it's all about. I love hearing and getting to know people, talking to them, hearing their stories, and seeing what's going on in their life. We do have one event coming up, but it was great. We just had, let's see, there was Money Mastery with a selling on the spot. There was a great packed room of people. There was a wonderful event. And then the other event, let's see, what else did we have? Oh, It was Monetize Your Microphone with Glenn Friesman, and it's all about the digital speaker app. The replay is up on YouTube, folks. If you're watching on LinkedIn or Rumble, I'll put that information in the chat. You're going to want to watch that replay. How do you get paid? How about your own booking agent that you want a speaker agent? And I see a lot of these speaker bureaus that forget who people are. They don't talk to them. They have you sign up for hundreds of dollars a month, and you don't get to even know the person that is running the show. You just get listed on somebody's random website. They don't know you, you don't know them, and you're not getting a stage. Whether you're a seasoned speaker or you're new to the game, but you do have virtual experience or a few lunch and learns that you've done live, it's time to grab the mic and get paid to speak. How wonderful is that, right? We do have one upcoming event, and that is with Summer Diaz Silva, and she's just so amazing from Fab Collabs. It is on Tuesday, July 28th, and it is at 1 p.m. Eastern. That should be 6 p.m. United Kingdom time. So if you're across the pond, just turn on your virtual machine there, that virtual box, and get on the mic. And she's fantastically amazing at just really simplifying and giving some micro learning tidbits of what LinkedIn is and making it powerful. She's another event host that I met. I love working with her. There's no competition there unless we decide to have a little fun, and see what we can do and power ourselves a little bit more. So playing the game, but she's going to teach guys the power of connection and engagement. So just like the workshops, the master classes, it's all about engagement. If you're spraying and praying and you're not engaging on other people's posts, if you wonder why people aren't coming to your event or don't know you, that can be one thing. So come on in there. It's free to register. I'll put all the information in there, and I'm gonna bring my guest up here today, Miss Lana. Come on up. I love that you are here, and I do love that red chair. I don't know about you guys. We had this conversation backstage, but if you've ever watched, and you guys can Google it on the Weberverse, the actor studio, and it's just this intimate. Of course they have an audience, but it's just a really fabulous it was just a really fabulous interview that they did. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'll think of it in a minute. But I want to bring this wonderful lady up. Google. Okay, a little too much sound there. They didn't want to turn off the YouTube. And I'm just making sure everything's powered up. That's what you do as a stage host. You want to make sure that everything's working all the time. We're going to talk about books and publishing. But before we get into the great conversation, because again, it's all about branding, folks. It's all about marketing, and a marketing part of that marketing machine is your book, your story, who you are. It's your business, your brand, whether the story is personal or about your business. It is a great way to leverage the publicity. And hey, you wrote it, you need to get it off the shelf and share it. So come on up here, my friend, and just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I've been really excited to be with you today. Um, I am the author and ghostwriter of 50 published titles. My books have sold more than 1 million copies, and I've been in the book industry for over 30 years. I started out as a stay-at-home mom, just writing novels from my dining room table. And one thing led to another. I won a national award. I got involved in teaching and so many other things. And now I am the owner of a publishing company. So, yeah, life goes on. You're muted,
Oh,
Nicole.
I'm pressing my magic buttons. There's a contractors out here. There's some machines and whatnot moving on, so I'm trying to keep that sound off. But thank you. It's just we had such a great conversation, and part of that, and we did meet at Fab Collabs in the networking. Just a shout out to that group, and it's really just the fact that I just had a summit called Plot Twist a Gathering. And in my heart, I want people to, they wrote the story. They put the book out there. They did so much with it, and it's just their baby. They birthed it, they put it into the world, and then they don't want to share it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to share it with anybody. It's like, How do people get to know you? Maybe you got to number one bestseller, but did you make the money off of it? And or are you giving it as gifts? So that's kind of where we had that conversation too. It was just great timing, and the universe sure loves to share that with people. Is like, hey, you put these people together at this right time. It is your story, it is your journey, and what are you doing with it? So let's get into this a little bit. It's you know when people are publishing, there's this huge journey, right? That they're getting into it. And you said you were at the table writing novels in your home. You just had so much going on. Were they fantasy, or are they just fiction or nonfiction?
Romance novels with a mystery, the fun stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we connected too. I'm such an Agatha Christie fan. I know I say that all the time, but there's romance, and if you're watching Poirot or you're watching the little, anything else too, those mysteries that they had, Miss Marple, and there is romance. There's a charm. There's a mystery, and I think that's what life is about. And it's just sharing this. And when people are writing, and you've had this personal experience, so you're the expert here. What is that journey like when you go, you have this in you, you have these thoughts, you have this creativity, it's brewing, you put it to paper, and then why stop there? What happens to people when they just get so intense and then they write it down, and then it's like journaling, I think, for some of us. Just you put it down, but are you manifesting it? Are you taking action? Why hide it? Why keep it there in the book and not put it out? Is it a mindset, or are they just so glad to release it?
Well, I think it's a combination. For one thing, people who start writing, they may not be a speaker already. I wasn't. And I mean, that was back in the day. Look at me now. But yes, it depends on where they start from and what their goal is. Because if their goal is just to get these books out, just get it out of my head, get it into form, and put it out on Amazon, they're not going to be as open to speaking. But if their idea is to become a career author that's putting out books regularly, then they have a different mindset about what they're going to do.
Oh, well, bless you. So, yeah, if you need to stop and take water or drink, go ahead, go right ahead. So, it's just it's there are so many people that they're not ready to share the story. I think some of that comes from the fact that some of this they've kept deep down inside so much that they've never talked to anybody about it, right? It's kind of like having your dream, or, hey, I want to be a millionaire, but I don't want to tell anybody. You don't have to tell everybody, but tell somebody that may be an accountability partner, tell somebody that can put it out. So when you get this out, whether you're a speaker or not, is it part of telling people? I mean, were you telling people, or was the mystery to you that you had this book inside of you?
I started to speak at women's retreats. And so I wasn't really talking about the books. I was talking about my life. I was talking about personal development and that kind of thing. But through the speaking, people started to get to know me, and they would mob the table at the end of the speech. And I would have my books on the table. And so this is what I teach. I teach keep writing books. If you love to write and you want to, get those books out of you, then develop a body of work. And when you do, people will not buy one, they'll want them all. And so instead of making one sale at a time, you're making five or 10 or whatever. So yeah, just keep doing it. Keep rolling the books out regularly. I mean, you don't have to do one every 6 months. You could do one a year, one every 2 years, but over time you will develop this body of work, and people will gravitate to you. So it doesn't matter if they come in on book number 4 or book number 10, whatever, wherever they enter your world, they will want more of you.
Well, that's so true because people want to just know. It's kind of like the sales. When people talk about sales, it's like people want to know where to go. So you're doing a disservice by not charging people, by not telling people about your products or your service, not telling them about your book. They don't know where to get it. They don't know where to find it. They don't know how to find it. And you tell them, hey, I'm a number one bestseller, or hey, have the book behind you. By the way, when I wrote this book in chapter two, this is what I talk about. So can I read a little bit to you? If you have a group of people, if you have a membership, how about seating those people with a few chapters, giving them a bit of an audio, a video? And that's what I love about what I do is I get a chance to work with people. And I started offering this a few years ago because I wanted speakers to have a chance or and authors that were developing a speaking career to have a chance to share their story just with in an intimate setting. How wonderful is it to grab a book and just share with people what you're doing? I mean, think of the Agatha Christie had it all the time, right? They were having the mystery, there's the romance, and then they're at an event and they're having the author read, or book signings, going to it, the coffee shops or wherever you are. People want to hear about you, your book, and they want to hear about it from the author. And it's a way for people to hear your story from you. So you don't just tell it to the book and then it's just got no life to it. Bring it alive, open it up, let that magic begin. You don't have to do Audible. You can do Audible. That's fine. Sometimes it's a struggle to find somebody that does a good voiceover that would match your character, or maybe you don't have time, or maybe it's a you're not comfortable or you don't have the space to do all the audio. You could do that on a Zoom. I think it's wonderful when I started to do that, just working with people and seeing them light up because they're connected. I think the audit, oh, do you have an opinion on it? Is it better? I like when the author reads the book. That's just my thing. What do you get? Have you done any Audible on your books?
One of my books is in Audible, Reaping the Whirlwind. That's the only one I've had produced into audio. That is on my bucket list. For my publisher did not do audio. So yeah, that's something I want to do.
I love that because I think it's just great. We have our phones with us. We have the devices with us all the time, folks. What are you doing that you can use that when you're working out? People can listen to you. Maybe you're a motivational person and you're really energetic when you decide to use the microphone as your friend and your personality really comes out, or you have somebody read it and they're like you don't have that personality, right? Or maybe opposite. It's just different because your book. There is a body language when people read their book. Sometimes they sit up or sometimes they feel, they can kind of feel that pain and you can see that wince or something like, oh my gosh, I remember this moment like it was yesterday. Just connecting to the book and really feeling that connection, really feeling into it. Bring it alive, and the stage is the way to do it. And besides, you could have a workshop, and if you are a trainer and it's about business, what about sharing 3 tips in a workshop and talking about the book? Like, hey, you sign up for my program as a free gift, or a free gift for being here, I'll give you a chapter of the book. Thanks for coming, right? There's so many ways to gift it. And then people want to know, which you mentioned before, they want to know about the rest of your books, right? They want to be the fans to you. So, seems like it's such a shift. And I actually decided, I collaborated with Mary Farias on the Plot Twist Summit, and I actually was part of the anthology. I got to know the editor, the publisher, and everybody. It's different when you kind of build that relationship. It wasn't my goal really to write, but it just happened to come through at the right time. And the anthologies were kind of scary. To me, and I know to other people, because stories don't always mesh. Depends on who's writing the anthology, right? So I wanted to get to know people. So it was an extraordinary experience to go through that journey and then see some of these writers come on to the stage and share that story. What's a shift that you would like to see, or maybe that you've seen in publishing for people with, do they find it easier in the virtual space to start to speak about their book and their business and their life or their career now?
Oh, yes. Most people are comfortable on Zoom these days. And if they have a little outline, that they're going to deliver, it feels more like a conversation than the stress of standing in front of a group. But something that I've been teaching recently is to create a game,
Mm.
that you're going to play with the people on Zoom or the people in the room. And people really are responding to that. We did one recently where this gal has it's a group of inspirational stories about celebrities and the struggles they went through in their life and so forth. And she did a little pop quiz. And she got up and she handed out the sheet with a multiple choice questions on it. Which of these famous people slept in a closet when they were getting started? And yeah, everybody was so into it. And they were excited, and she started running out of time. She said, well, I think I'll skip the last two. Everybody's like, no, don't skip.
Well, that's so funny.
It was awesome. Yeah.
I like that. A game with it, and you can add mystery. So did it tie into her book? What she was talking about, or how did that kind of come about for you?
Well, her book would have given all the answers because this came out of her book, and she has 50 different celebrities in the book, and so there's so many unknown tidbits that people could get, as well as inspirational stories. So it's very fascinating to people. What don't you know about Mother Teresa or Queen Elizabeth? Yeah.
And that's a great way to sneak it in there and say, hey, here in this chapter, we're going to talk about what you don't know about Queen Elizabeth, or maybe as a little girl, she did this, or did you know who she was related to? It's just fantastic to really see, like, the connection, bringing the story to life. We have a way to do it. This is just use it. It's not expensive, and you can play around with it. I do see a lot of authors that have spent so much on their books, or an anthology where people don't help them. And you said you mentioned ghostwriter, and I think what's great about that is that means that you can really get into somebody's voice and you can get a little more intimate with them, but also the editing portion. Not everybody, I'm going to say it, guys, you know me, I've probably said it before, not everybody's meant to be a writer. They may have a fantastic, phenomenal story they can share on the stage, but it doesn't necessarily convert to the pages. I think it's so different when you read and what you're looking for to get people involved. You don't want to just have like you're having a conversation, because you're one person telling the story. What is that dynamic differently? I think that the tools and experience that you have when you have these facets, you know how to get more involved with a person and really pull the story out. So what's the journey like if you're ghostwriting and getting into somebody's kind of soul?
That's an interesting way to put it, because it seems like we do put our soul out into the book that we're working on at the time. Because I started out as a fiction writer, I was able to take my client, my ghostwriting client, and I've ghostwritten 22 books up to now, so 22 different people, and see them as a character and get into their mindset and get into their voice. And I record our conversation so I can get their speech patterns and their mannerisms and all of that. And so when I'm ghostwriting their book, I am thinking through their eyes. And so my fiction skills, and a lot of times people say, oh, fiction is just for fun, it's not really that interesting. But fiction is difficult. You have to get
Mm.
into the mindset of all the characters. You've got to portray them accurately, you've got to know them, and these conversations that are happening between the characters, they're all in your head. You have to make it all up. And so the fiction skills are very useful. And I implemented that when I started ghostwriting. And so the client will come to me with an idea. They may have an outline, they may have a first draft, they may have a lot of things ready. Some people have come to me with nothing ready,
Oh,
but depending on where they are, we pick it up there and we talk through the material, and I'll find the thread that needs to be focused on. We'll talk through it. It's all the author's work. And so we're constantly in touch. I'll bring them what I've put together, an outline or whatever, and then we walk through it, make any changes, and then I start writing the chapters out and sending them one chapter at a time to the client, and the client is working with me. We are collaborating
mm.
on this project. I know that a lot of people think, oh, you just hand something to the ghostwriter and they come out with a fully formed book. That is not how it
Good
works.
luck with that.
No, that's not how it works. But it's very fun to work with someone else on your project. Somebody with experience, somebody you can ask questions to, and you feel supported. You feel like this is going to turn into a masterpiece I envisioned when I might not have had the skills to do it on my own.
Well, that's true. So do you feel that people can probably be, and we know this through mindset, right? And I would imagine that your experience with all the mindset and everything that you said that you're talking about and sharing on stage helps you really get into somebody deeply, right? Just at that soul cellular level to be like, hey, buddy, maybe you're slowing the process down. Right?
Mhm.
It's not the world because it can be overwhelming, but when you have somebody with all the tools and the knowledge and the experience, what's that process to really pull it out of somebody and say, come on, let's go, that can maybe relieve them from the overwhelm.
Oh, yeah, because we take it one step at a time. We are always working on a focused piece of it so that the client doesn't get in that overwhelm. But on two separate occasions, I've had people say, I'm realizing because of working through this with you, I'm realizing that I need to shift my mindset on my business. And one of them actually did a big pivot. Instead of working with individual small businesses, they pivoted and they focused their book on an industry and took higher level perspective and actually went and changed their logo. I mean, they did a massive shift on their
Wow.
business because working through the material gave them clarity on what they were actually doing. And
Mm.
so, although I'm
Okay.
not a business coach, I've seen businesses transformed simply by working through their material.
Well, you're getting out those skeletons in the closet, right? You're letting those skeletons go and taking them out of the closet when you start to really get into the book. There was a story that I wrote in the anthology that's coming out, and I got to share some of that on the summit and go through this summit, hosting the summit and meeting all these authors and speakers and going through that and writing the book. I don't think that I could have written, well, I didn't write a book, I wrote a chapter. I don't think I could have written the chapter if I wasn't on the stage. Because for me as a leader, I got 20 years experience in leadership and management, and training, train the trainer kind of thing, and taking that and so my mind is more in the logical phase, which was greater for me, because when it's in that mode and I'm doing business and I got to do it because I preach it, then I'll hold myself accountable. Now, versus if I wasn't, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll get to that later. Not the most important thing. And it's great to share that because I talk about sharing your story. When people connect with you on a stage, whether they're connecting with you in a workshop, they're connecting with you in a summit, or they're connecting with you at a lunch and learn, if you don't share your story, there is part of your story, there's part of the journey, and if you can't tell that, then people have no relatability. Now, don't tell everything, Don't spill the beans. You might want to leave a little bit for your biography, right? Digging a little bit of the dirt, spilling that tea. Read it, leave it for your book. So people, it's a page turner, right? They want to know what the plot twist is. What's the mystery or the romance here, and getting into that. But it's a connection, and it's a great way to sell a book. Hey, you want to learn more about me? Put my book. You can put the book in the chat and say, hey, I'm Bob Smith. I I'm an insurance salesman, and I have a book. Here's the link to my book. Maybe they don't buy it right away, but you can always share a chapter. You can share an audio file, or maybe you read the chapter in the video and people can really connect to you. You don't need a bunch of, you can have it where I've done some of those too. People have done chapters or they've read the audio, and there's the visuals there for the scene. But people will listen to you even if you're just sitting in a nice little setting, and they'll want to connect to you. And what a gift to share that. The little things you can share in the chat to brand you, to brand your message, and to reach out to people about your book. There's so many ways to say it and show it. You don't have to shove it in everybody's face, but if it's there behind you on the shelf, or you grab it and you show people it when you're talking, hey, in chapter 5, this is my self-development journey, or what have you. There's a relatability. So if we start to tie that around the marketing, how does the marketing work? And it works the same with your business. And what a way to overcome that. Because when you start to talk about that, when you were talking about your client, how she changed, her business changed, her mindset changed, and went, well, I'm actually speaking about this. I'm actually talking about this. That makes a world of difference. So it's just the awesome thing about the journey and sharing the story wherever you can. So when people are doing this, what do you share with authors when it's time to market? When it's time to put that book, should they start marketing their book? I would think, I don't know about you, but they should start marketing their book when they're writing it, talking about their stories, and getting on the stage. What say you to the author, or wait till the last minute and now you're in a super overwhelm?
Oh yeah, as soon as they get the idea, they should start to market. And so I tell people, just start now. Now's the time. You can't go back in history, so start now. And just put the idea out there. Say, I'm writing a book. Talk about what chapter you're on and what you're working through right now, any research that you're doing. When you get the cover, you put the cover out. Oh, look at my new cover. The book's going to be out in a few months. And just keep priming the pump and just keep working it, because then when you get ready and the book is out, people will want to see it. They've been hearing about it. They're curious. They're interested. And so, yeah, start right away, immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the best thing. So it's the same, folks, when you're talking about your products or your services. I'm in a launch and I'm not telling anybody. Okay. Did you miss the buildup that Alex Hermosi had to his $100 million book, right? He's got what was the last one? There's the leads and there's the sales and all the other stuff. So he has a series of books. The book's a very short book. It's about business. It's about everything that he talks about. And it's an easy read. It's got pictures, so it helps us, right? You got the picture and the verbal, but the audio, super visual part of that was that he seated people to the launch. He did his launch live. There's a seating. You are advertising. It takes people 3 months to get people to understand that there's summits coming up, and then if you wait till the last minute, you got to put ads out, and it's this big mess, right? Well, if you tell people as you're getting ready to launch, as you're telling people about the new services that you're going to be offering, hey, I've got coaching and I'm going to start doing, maybe you start your physical fitness person and you coach and you say, hey, I'm going to start launching an online fitness group. you can tell people a little bit about what you do. Maybe you do one-to-one coaching now. Here's what you're going to get in the group, and I can't wait till the launch. It's an advertisement every time you grab the mic. It's your chance to get on the stage. If people in a networking say, hey, what was that breakout room like? Raise your hand and say, hey, I met Lana and we talked about publishing. And this is where you start to establish the connection. If you wait till the end, you have lost precious time. If you have a book, get on podcasts, start talking about it. And find a way to see. Maybe, here's the other thing is people, even if they speak or their business is separate from their book, there is something that has a connection when they're an author, that they can connect to people and say, here's a different part of life that I want to share with people. Maybe they went through a divorce and wrote about it. Maybe they lost a child, or maybe they had a great hiking journey after college. Who knows? Oh, what do you suggest to people that say, hey, it's not relatable to my business, but yet it is because it's a product that they produced.
Oh yes, you've got to find the correlations. Otherwise, why did you write it? Why did you write this if it's something that's so far distant from what you're doing that it doesn't apply? Find a way. Find a way. We're creative people. We can find a way. So yes, look at it from every angle. And if nothing else, this is just a fun little thing I did. It's really great. Here it is. Ha ha ha. And we're going to have fun with it. And by the way, I have a business and my business is over here. So I'm just going to mention it while I have a minute and then just keep rolling. I mean, you can always find that correlation. And sometimes it is good to lighten up. Everything doesn't have to be completely serious. It actually endears you to people if you are able to do that. So find a way
Mm.
to bring it in. I always tell my students, um, find the topics in your fiction book that you've done research on, topics of interest that are in the fiction book, and then go do a little talk about that and say, oh, by the way, I have this book,
Mhm.
just to bring them together. Yeah.
It makes you complete, right? As a person, as a leader, if you're a leader and you're into a huge leadership and driving people, maybe you're a CEO of a company, or maybe you're in upper management, and you want to show as a leader and you're like, oh, my book's a little bit personal. I should separate it. Well, when you look at it that way, yes. Problem is there's a pain point out there of relatability. This is a great way to relate to people. Apparently, you wanted it public because you published it. So let's just get to the truth and down to the brass tacks here. The real thing is you published it. You kind of want people, there's a little part of you back there that's like, hey, I want this public. I put it out there. Own it. Own it. Own the book. Maybe there's a secondary part that you want to make some corrections or you want to tell the rest of your journey. How does it tie in? When you are soul led as a leader, you have those two factions, right? You want to be this strong, dynamic person that shows up as the boss, but the soul led part of you is a portion of that. And so many people right now are looking for that balance, that harmony as a huge person. You don't have, maybe it's a bit of information that you don't necessarily want to share, but there's good portions of it. So why'd you put it out there? That is always my question. If you didn't want people to know, why'd you shoot the video? If you didn't want people to see that, why did you put it on Facebook? I'm just saying, it's out there. And what I do, what I look at it like this, it's branding. It's marketing. You have put it out there. You put the book out there, and say, hey, take ownership of it, because you are feeding the AEO. You're feeding the search engine. You're feeding the optimization. You want to push it more. There's other groups of people you can connect with that may need your product or service. So it's not putting the square peg in the round hole. It's finding the relatability and the connection. that you can help people with, right? So there's stories that you can share on that journey. I mean, if I talk about in my chapter, 2020 hit me, like a Molotov cocktail. It just somebody shook it up and blew my world up. I had a 20-year career in law enforcement and security, and all of a sudden I was forced into the entrepreneurship, and I was slowly trying to get into what did I really want to do. I don't really want to be a coach, but how did that work? It's a whole different phase of life. There was other things that happened in my journey along the way to the stage and virtual reality and Zoom and this platform. But it's the relatability as a leader that I can show people that I led, and I learned to lead with the soul and lead with a passion. And I've gone through the journey. The other marvelous thing is part of that journey was sharing a stage, and my first summit was in virtual reality as the chairwoman of Confronting Domestic Violence. And we brought victims to the stage that were either ready to tell their story, have already told their story, or if they were uncomfortable getting on the camera, then they can come in like an avatar, a panda bear, or giraffe. Sometimes it's a little easier having a conversation and you don't get in well up with tears. So now telling these people's story, now that they're on camera and they can run a business, they can talk about what happened, and now they can be comfortable telling their story more and more. So there's a huge relatability in there of how I came to this journey. So what happens to people? What happened along the way? How does that work? Let's get into, and I've shared all of your information in here, your podcast, your LinkedIn, your website. And let's talk about what it looks like when people get to you. Say you have a group. How do you work with people? How do they work with you? What's that journey like?
Oh, there's a lot of options, and I try to meet people wherever they are, of course. We have a monthly marketing mastermind that meets twice a month for classes on marketing and networking. And included in that is a writing lab. And the writing labs are where people send me 500 words of their work. And together in a Zoom call, I go over it and teach based on what came in that time. And it is the fan favorite of everything I do is those writing labs. There's another option, and we do publishing, which Vandella Publishing is a traditional publisher, but we do it a different way. Because I was in publishing for 30 years, I kind of created my dream company, what I wished I had had way back in the day. We keep no royalties. The author gets 100% of their money,
Oh, I love
and
that.
we hold no rights. The author always has 100% of their rights. Usually with a traditional publisher, when you sign that contract, you just said goodbye to
Oh,
your material because now they own it and you don't.
oh,
So we don't do that. We don't hold anyone's rights. And then we do this training. We do this training with our authors every single week. We meet with them and listen to what they're going through, give them advice, feedback, classes, expert speakers, all of it. And then we go one step further, and that is we do public relations. We will call around to local libraries, bookstores, and other places and get you stages so you can stand up and tell your story about your book and sell books. We will promise 5 different engagements for every single author that comes to us. I don't know of any other publisher that does that kind of work. So we are accessible and affordable.
mm-hmm.
Affordable is another big deal because if you go to a hybrid, they're going to charge you $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 for each book. And we're not building mansions and having our customers mortgage their houses to come to us, which is what is happening. So, yeah, we do it a different way. Vandella Publishing is where we are, vandellapublishing.com.
I love that because I mean, to me, and through my summit, I launched the Plot Twist: A Gathering speaker panel, and I think you scheduled for that, and if you didn't, I'm putting you on the spot. But For me, it is such a pleasure to talk about. I know I talk about business and it's kind of fast and furious, and we want to just focus on how this helps you brand, how this helps you build your business, and talk about people's products or services. We shared solutions to your business pain point. If you already have the book, here's what you do next. If you don't have the book, here's what you do. If you want to get on the stage, let's chat. It's a great way to talk about your book. So if your book doesn't have anything, or you're not coming on the Pain Point podcast, come on Plot Twist a Gathering. This is for my people on LinkedIn. I am looking forward to having, this is more of a journey of your book. What is happening? What's the plot twist? What's the mystery, the romance? And then what's the page turner? When that page speaks, what happened? It's the journey of the book that I love to have the conversation with, whether you're a publisher, you're an author, you're a ghostwriter. Come on to this podcast. We're having a panel, up to 4 people. Will be able to come on the guest. It started, we streamed for about an hour and a half, live stream with great connection, communication on there, great engagement. And it's about what happens, because as we talked here, and we don't have a lot of time to get into it, we're just about gone, my friends, already. This hour is flying by. You want to talk more about the journey, because not just the mindset, but what happened, right? What happened to you that made you write the book? What the heck? I'll keep it light. What the heck happened for you to get in that sticky situation? Could have been something crazy, could have been something fun. I want to know about it. It's just sometimes the journey of writing the book, or the situation that you're writing about, that moment in time that you're writing about, is really interesting, and you should talk about it. So come on the podcast. That is just such a great way to share with people. It's the publicity. You want to talk about your book? Let's do it. It's just the journey. I love to watch those old biography A&E, and I watch some of it on YouTube about the artist or about the writer, and sometimes their life is more interesting than, because you can only put so much in a book that people are going to read. There's stories and there's situations, and people have a chance to talk about their book. It's branding, it's marketing. What a great way. Grab the mic, get on the stage. And I do want to leave you, friend, before we play the commercial and head out. This has been a great conversation. Is any last takeaways? What should people do? You want to tell them, or any mistakes that they've made, anything that you want to share?
Just get started. Don't let overwhelm keep you in a spin. If you haven't finished the book, finish the book. If you need to get out there and be visible, just start small. Just start with some posting on Facebook. I know someone who started off with just a couple of live streams on their phone onto Facebook, 3 minutes, just 3 minutes. And they ended up with a massive following. So just get started. Just get started wherever you are. Don't feel like you have to be, this huge star with this massive thing. Just start now. Just start now. Don't wait.
Absolutely. Great message to leave everybody with. Start and do it. Get it in action, get it in motion, cross it off your list. Take the box of paperwork and journal of the one day, someday that you thought was on the calendar out of your closet, and start going through it, and start putting, and it's cathartic. You're cleaning your house. New wonderful things will happen to you. More stories will come. And grab that mic, get on the camera, connect with me. There are some sponsorship spots opening on the Pain Point podcast and the Plot Twist a Gathering, and the my events as well. So we have sponsorship spots. I have them all the time. So if you're interested in getting a sponsorship spot and a commercial, reach out to me. My information's in the chat. I would love to share your product, your service, and even your book. What a great way to share that. So folks, reach out, go to Vandella Publishing, reach out to Lana. And I love this. Connect with her, replay, leave a comment, like and subscribe. And if you're on LinkedIn, you can reach and sneak into my DMs on the download and say hello. I said download, how funny. Down low. Oh, well, Friday it slipped, but hey, folks, thank you so much. This is great. It's another wonderful episode of the Pain Point podcast. Bye bye. Bye bye.
You're building your business, but behind the scenes, sticky notes, spreadsheets, missed follow ups, and way too much juggling. What if your business finally had a system that worked as hard as you do?